The next thing we find in the story of Moses as they travel across the wilderness is they think they're going to die of thirst. They're delivered slaves, but they've got to drink something. I felt like that as a young Christian. I'd been raised as a non-Christian. I had no concept that there was a gospel. And then I got saved and I started going to church on Sunday, but I kept up my old lifestyle of, well, a pretty debauched life, to be perfectly honest. But I just went to church Sunday morning. And then one Sunday, a sermon arrested my attention. I knew God wanted my life. I've got to change my lifestyle. I've got to stop living this double life. But the thing was, I found it so hard to give it up because that's what I love drinking in. We all need something outside of ourselves to give us joy. That's the way God's made us. And for me, that thing outside was all my friends, my non-Christian friends, and the things we used to get up to. And especially at weekends because, well, I had a boring job in London. I used to commute every day from Brighton, and it was just hard and tough. And the weekends we lived for, fun, the weekends, parties, getting drunk, that was what I did. And I had to stop that. And it was a real testing time. I remember my very first weekend when I thought, I'm not going any longer with my old friends. I'd said my goodbyes. I'm going to live the proper Christian life now. But I didn't really know what that was. I had no concept of church. Church was just a meeting I went to on Sunday morning. I had no Christian friends. It was a big church, hundreds of people. You just could be anonymous there. And my first Saturday night, I recall I got on my motorbike, scooter, drove down to Brighton and just drove around, and the crowds were buzzing as it always was on Saturday night in Brighton. It was a lively town. And I thought, no, I've turned my back on this. I drove home. My parents were in the other room watching television, and I sat alone at home on a Saturday night. And I thought, wow, I'm going to die of thirst. I will die. I can't handle this. I mean, what can I do? Is this my life from now on? I mean, people used to say Christianity is life with a capital L, and it looked like to me Christianity was hell with a capital H. It's like, I'm going to be sitting at home alone from now on a Saturday night. And I remember I picked up my Bible, which I'd not done before, and for the first time ever, I just sat and started reading the book of Acts. And as I read the book of Acts, a little bubble of hope grew up in my soul. I thought, boy, this story, the book of Acts, is so exciting. It wasn't boring, it was amazing. And God just began to stir me. Hey, you're not going to die. I've got water for you. You know, as they went through the wilderness, they were dying of thirst, and they were led to a rock, and they had to hit the rock. And Paul says in 1 Corinthians 10, the rock which followed them was Christ. Jesus somehow supernaturally provided for them. That's the way Paul interprets this whole story in the New Testament. There was a day in John 7:37 where Jesus stands up and shouts to the people, if anyone's thirsty, come to me and drink. Come to me and drink. He that believes in me, out of his heart shall flow rivers of living water. He said to the woman at the well, you can have in you a well of water springing up. God was promising something that could absolutely satisfy. But on that day he said, come to me. And if you pushed through the crowd and said, yes, I want it, he'd say, well, not yet. Why? Well, the Spirit hasn't yet been given. Why? Because Jesus has not yet been glorified. The rock has not yet been hit. Jesus had to be hit. He was smitten for us. He died in our place. He took away our guilt. He took away our shame. He died. Then he rose again and made a stream of water available to us. Rivers of living water. Yes, enough. I thought I was going to die. I thought life's going to be deadly. Well, it's just the opposite. Life has become wonderful. Jesus is the giver of the water of life freely. Come to him, get to know him, drink deeply of his wonderful love.